Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. So, today we are going to discuss the chemical properties of acids and alkalis. Alright, but for this video, I just only discuss the chemical properties of acids. There are two types of properties, which are physical properties and chemical properties. Okay, physical properties of acid is that you can observe with your five senses. For example, the properties of acid has a sour taste, change blue litmus paper to red, and the pH value less than 7. For the chemical properties of acid, there are three, which are, the first is the reaction between acid and base. Base is a metal oxide or metal hydroxide. Okay, look at the procedure of this experiment. Okay, number one, pour 20 cm of 20 cm cube of 1.0 mol decimeter cube sulfuric acid into a beaker. Heat the acid by using a small flame. Add copper to oxide powder gradually into the acid by using a spatula. Stir the mixture with a glass rod. Okay, the color of copper to oxide is black. Observe the change that take place on copper to oxide that react with acid. Record your observation on the solution produced. So, let's write the chemical equation first. H2SO4 react with copper to oxide to produce copper to sulfate and water. So, the color of copper to sulfate is blue. Why the copper to sulfate is a blue? Because the presence of copper to ion. Continue adding copper to oxide powder until it can no longer dissolve. Okay, what is the purpose to add copper to oxide until no longer dissolve? Is to make sure all sulfuric acid react completely with copper to oxide. Means that copper to oxide here in excess. Okay, number 5. Filter out the excess copper to oxide from the mixture. So you can look at here in the diagram. The black color is a residue, which is excess copper to oxide. And then the filtrate is a copper to sulfate solution. Then take the filtrate and put into evaporating dish. The filtrate will be heated until the filtrate 1/3 of its initial volume remains, or heat the filtrate until saturated. Dalam bahasa Melayu, saturated adalah tepu. Okay, and then when the filtrate becomes saturated, allow the saturated solution cool at room temperature and salt crystal produce. Okay, then when the salt crystal is produced, filter the salt crystal. After filter, need to rinse the salt crystal with distilled water. And lastly, need to dry the salt crystal with 2 pieces of filter paper. Okay, so look at the discussion for this experiment. What happened to the copper oxide powder when added to sulfuric acid? Okay, the answer is copper oxide powder dissolve in sulfuric acid. What the color of the solution produced from the reaction between sulfuric acid and copper oxide? So the color is a blue color. Write a chemical equation for the reaction between sulfuric acid and copper oxide. Okay, copper oxide react with sulfuric acid to form copper to sulfate and water. And number 4, from the equation, chemical equation written above, complete the following equation in words. Acid react with base to form salt and water. Okay, next. The chemical properties, the second chemical properties of acid is the reaction between acid and reactive metal. Okay, selalunya reactive metal yang kita gunakan adalah magnesium, aluminium or zinc. Okay, look at the procedure of this experiment. Okay, pour 20 centimeter cube of 2.0 mol decimeter cube of hydrochloric acid into a beaker, and then need to add excess of zinc powder into the hydrochloric acid. So sebab dia sama je, why need to put zinc powder in excess? To make sure all hydrochloric acid react completely with zinc powder. And then to remove the excess zinc powder, we need to do a filtration. So here you can see is a residue which is a excess of zinc powder, and then you get the filtrate of zinc chloride solution. Then take a filtrate, put into the evaporated dish and heat the filtrate until saturated. Then cool the saturated solution to produce crystal salt at room temperature. Okay, then the crystal is formed. Filter the salt crystal. After that, rinse with distilled water, and lastly dry with 2 pieces of filter paper. Okay, so before we discuss for the experiment in figure 6.20, let's write the chemical equation first. Okay, HCl react with a zinc to form zinc chloride and hydrogen gas, 2HCl. Here is the experiment to verify the gas produced is a hydrogen gas, because we use a burning wooden splinter. Alright, so we repeat experiment by using 5 centimeter cube of 2.0 mole decimeter cube of hydrochloric acid is poured into a test tube and add a zinc powder. Okay, add zinc powder. Then put burning wooden splinter at the mouth of the test tube. So what happened is a pop sound is produced. A pop sound is produced because the gas produced is a hydrogen gas. Because hydrogen gas produced. Okay. So look at discussion for this experiment. What is the observation that indicates acid has react with metal when zinc powder is added to hydrochloric acid? So bila kita masukkan zinc ke dalam acid, apa yang kita boleh nampak adalah ada bubbles gas yang produce, which is hydrogen gas. So effervescence. Effervescence occur. Apa maksud effervescence ni? Adalah pembuakan. Okay. Then a pop sound is produced when a burning wooden splinter is put at the mouth of the test tube. Okay, name the gas released in this activity. Gas, hydrogen gas. Write a chemical equation for the reaction between hydrochloric acid and zinc. HCl react with zinc to form zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas, 2HCl. And number 4, from the chemical equation written above, complete the following equation in words. Acid react with reactive metal to form salt and hydrogen gas. Okay. For the third chemical properties of acid is reaction between acid and metal carbonate. Okay. So for this chemical properties, we use the reaction between nitric acid and marble chips, which is a calcium carbonate. Okay, kita tengok dulu diagram 6.21. Okay, in a test tube, pour 5 centimeter cube of 2.0 mole decimeter cube nitric acid and put a marble chips, and then close the test tube with a stopper, and the gas release are flow into a lime water. Okay, so the first is write the chemical equation first. Nitric acid react with a calcium carbonate to form calcium nitrate plus H2O plus CO2. As you know that lime water is indicate to confirmatory test of carbon dioxide gas. So here the product form is a carbon dioxide gas, then the gas is flow into the lime water. Lime water turns to cloudy because the presence of carbon dioxide gas. Okay, look at the discussion for this experiment. What is the reason for using excess marble chips to react with nitric acid? To ensure all the nitric acid has completely react with marble chips. How do you remove the excess marble chips from the salt solution produced? Filter the mixture in the test tube. for the reaction in this activity, name the salt produced. Okay, salt produced is calcium carbonate. And the gas released is carbon dioxide. So the question answer name. So you need to write the name of the gas and the name of salt produced. Okay, number 4. Write a chemical equation for the reaction between nitric acid and marble chips. Okay, saya tulis sekali lagi. Nitric acid react with calcium carbonate to form calcium nitrate plus CO2 plus H2O. So 2HNO3. And from the chemical equation written above, complete the following equation in words. Acid react with metal carbonate to form salt, carbon dioxide gas, and water. Okay, so as the conclusion is, there are 3 chemical properties of acid. The first is acid react with base. Base is a metal oxide or metal hydroxide to produce salt and water. Number 2, acid react with a reactive metal. Reactive metal, magnesium, aluminium or zinc to produce salt and hydrogen gas. And number 3, acid react with a metal carbonate to produce salt, water and carbon dioxide gas. Thank you.